Superman and Lois Season 4, Episode 4. That's right, folks. It's back. It's still on. And this episode really reminded me of something. It's that I have been getting a lot of predictions wrong this season. I thought we weren't going to see Kyle and Chrissy at all. We're just going to reference them off screen, not have them show up. Well, they get an entire episode centered around them, I guess to wrap up their story. I also predicted we wouldn't see Clark resurrected until the final episode. I was wrong about that. He's resurrected in this one. Two major things happen. Kyle gets an episode. He's my favorite character, so I like when that happens. And Clark is resurrected. He's back. It worked. The plan to take Sam's heart and put it into Clark worked. That's how this episode opens up. It literally opens up with a no dialogue scene where Clark comes back. And he's been back for a few weeks now, by the time we actually get into the narrative thrust of this episode. It was handled fine. It definitely feels like if we had more episodes, we would have built up to this a little bit more. But I guess with 10 episodes, we have a story we're rushing to, so we're going to tie up some of these loose ends. If we're just going to have Superman be back right away, well, he's going to be back right away. I guess he has been dead as long as he was in the comic books in terms of like the continuity of the story, because it was like months when he died. I don't know. They really just only had him dead for like 2 full episodes, not even, because the end of the third one he wakes up. So cool. Why did we tease like the holographic Superman then in the fortress? Like, that's a weird thing, because he's alive now. They're never going to bring that up again, right? I don't think they will. Kind of strange that they even brought it up to begin with, but I don't know. Superman's back. Clark is literally back. Everyone's okay. We get like an emotional sequence where he's like, I'm home. Everything's cool. I have Sam's heart. It's kind of weird. I'm getting used to it. And then just the next story. I don't know if we had more to tell there and we just ran out of time, or if that's just how we wanted to do it. Very strange. But like I said, this is an episode about my favorite character on the show, Kyle Cushing. He finally gets to lead an episode, because we're probably not going to see him again. This is about him and Chrissy getting ready for their wedding. They're just going to have a courthouse marriage, but then the courthouse is closed for some reason. So Lois is like, have it at our place. We'll do like a small ceremony. We have the barn location. We might as well use it every freaking week. This time we'll decorate it up for a wedding. That's it. That's the crux there. Kyle gets something to do. He wants to be nice to Chrissy's mom. Chrissy's mom is a lot of work, and that is going to drive her crazy. I like both these characters. I think it was a really fun pairing that they showed up last season. Just had them do something interesting. It worked for me. And I think this really shows you like the strength of letting Kyle be his own man. He wants to be the breadwinner. He wants to be the provider, the person in charge. Not in charge. That's the wrong way to put it. He wants to provide for his family. That's been his crux for a long time, for his character. And now that he's starting this different type of family, he still wants to have it work and be good. That's why he wants to get married. That's why he wants to do things this way. And Chrissy's mom, who has never met him, sees him as somebody who might just be doing this for the wrong intentions, but his intentions are right. Kyle's intentions, regardless of how stupid the choices he makes, are typically right. Chrissy is going to literally have a panic attack and freak out. Like, we know she's pregnant, so she can't take her edibles or do some shots as she wants to do. So she's just going to freak out and run away. Runaway bride on the wedding. Hey, what else she going to do? It's kind of interesting how they resolve that story, actually, because it just kind of ends without the wedding. We're not actually going to jump into it. We're going to stay together. No one's breaking up. We're going to stay together, but we're not going to get married. We're just going to have a party at the barn now and take things one day at a time, which is exactly what they needed to do this whole time, apparently. It's very interesting. It's the television equivalent of like, we just have to have one conversation to fix our problems. I know why it's paced like this. Again, we only have 5-6 episodes left after this. I don't know how much more resolution we're going to get for these characters, but this is it. Kyle gets something to do. Lois gets asked to be the maid of honor for Chrissy. Clark gets asked to be the best man for Kyle. That's pretty cool. I like those dynamics. And the forgotten Cushing daughter shows up for one scene. She's on screen for like 2 frames maybe. She's there though. She's dancing with John at the not wedding. Chloe is there. I always love when Chloe shows up because it's like that's a character that they did not need to introduce in this show. Why not just have one daughter? Sarah's there too. Sarah is a part of this. She actually talks to Chrissy while she's having her panic attack, giving Sarah something to do. We're probably not going to see her do much the rest of the season, but here you go. She's helping her dad and her stepmom figure some stuff out. No Lana. Surprisingly, Lana is not in this episode. I'm like, you could easily have her give like the blessing of some kind to let Kyle and Chrissy do this thing. I guess we couldn't get her on set today. I don't know. I like this storyline. It's really fun. It reminds me of television, which is what this is. It just ends with like a big dance number. Everyone's happy. Lois and Clark are dancing, and that's really cute. Sarah and Jordan are dancing. Chloe's dancing with John. Chrissy and Kyle dances with the mom. Everyone's good. The coach from the past couple of seasons is the DJ, and he's a good DJ actually. But it leads to a moment I like. If I couldn't like Kyle even more than I already do, he's a Blink-182 fan. He's trying to get Blink-182 playing at his wedding, but the coach is like, be for real. We're not playing that. He also says 311, I think was the other one. I like that band too. I like Kyle more. For some, he's already my favorite, but saying he likes Blink-182, a band I really enjoy, that's kind of sick. I like that Kyle and I have a taste in music. He's an interesting character. The kind of character you don't need for a Superman show. But to have like an everyman foil to Clark and Superman is very interesting. Now, the primary story is the wedding that doesn't actually happen, but there is more going on in this one as well, because John is learning to harness his powers. He goes out with his father to do some stuff in the Arctic. Clark is still adjusting to his new heart, which is a weird storyline. He's actually got like a scar on him, and the fact that it's not healing is concerning to everybody. So he has like I don't think it's a heart attack, but he pushes himself too far while he's training with John, and he collapses into the Arctic, and he's trying to play it off that he's cool, but of course he's not, because he's not the man he was. There's still something wrong with him that is eating at him, and he may never be the same, is kind of what we're saying here. Very interesting. Works really well. Seeing John like do exemplary work with his training and his powers really helps you underline like the stuff going on of Jordan. The Jordan stuff in this episode I think was really good. Like they have been afraid to push him in a certain direction. I think you could have easily gone down the trap of he's going to do something stupid in terms of like maybe helping Luther with something or getting lost in that direction. Instead, it's all about himself, which is exactly what Jordan should be doing. He's always somebody who is hardest on himself. So when he heard like the recording of his mom saying she choose John, the reason he is upset with it is because he knows he's going to do something wrong again, and that is the right choice. He blames himself for Lois choosing John as opposed to being mad at Lois. And I'm like, that is a really good interpretation of a man who is, anxious and depressed and has a lot of going on inside of him. It's also really good for Jordan. Like that is his character. There's a self-loathing to him that gets lost in translation when he has to do certain things. So he is letting himself figure stuff out, which is exactly what we should be doing at this point in the show for this character. Not that he's been like, stuck in one place for the past couple of seasons, but it's like he is still broken and there's stuff going on with him that he needs to fix. He's learning to work on that now. I really like how they handle Jordan's stuff in here, and it kind of like goes further when there's like a call to action because Gretchen is found and we have to like get her, and he lets John take the lead. Let John actually like go to Metropolis to like stop a fire from happening, which turns out to be a big setup, and that way we can figure out what's going on with the family, right? Luther's planning everything. He's one step ahead. He gets like a guy with like fire powers or fire gauntlets or whatever to attack John. John's probably going to die. And then in comes Dad, now revealing himself to the world again. Superman is back. This is how he comes back. Not with like a blaze of glory, but just protecting his son. And that is enough of an idea where, is the word going to spread that Superman's back in the world? That going to look good? Is that going to go bad? This might be the most like television episode of the season so far. The way they play with themes and have storylines wrap up, it feels so classic television, classic CW as well. Good music, which is important for a wedding episode, and just an interesting arc for everyone to go on. The episode ends with Lois in bed with Clark and her phone's going off because they're going to have some fun time. And it's just news reports speculating that Superman is back because word has gotten out that something happened in Metropolis and Superman is back in the world. What does that mean? I don't know. But I had this thought watching it too. This feels like the perfect time to do like a mid-season break. If we had like 15 episodes before like in the other seasons, this is probably where we would break it for a little bit. Or maybe like before Clark returns, we would break it. And we like space this episode out a little bit more. So like the John and Jordan stuff is paralleled over here. Like giving John the suit would be like in a different thing than like the Chrissy and Kyle stuff. Either way, with 10 episodes, we have to rush a couple of things. And that's okay. That's bound to happen. That is the nature of a show like this. So now that Clark's back, the world knows he's back too. Do they know he is Clark Kent? It's still hard to say. I think Lex is going to say it, maybe? Or maybe he's not. They haven't really brought that thread up again. We also haven't used Lana again, so I don't know if that's going to matter in any way. Fun episode. I like Kyle a lot. I'm glad if this is all we get, where he's like, I was pushing something I didn't know was too far. I learned that I just have to take it one day at a time. I think that's a good end for his character. I'm happy with that. It is a satisfying conclusion to what he was doing. I'm good with that. We'll see though. Maybe he'll show up again. Lana and Sarah, I think, will. I don't know about Kyle and Chrissy. I don't know. Nat and John Henry, maybe. Don't know about Kyle and Chrissy. But I can live with that. And next week, who knows what will happen. I'm not looking at the previews for next week, so maybe they're in the previews for next week. But if not, let's come back next week and talk about it. So thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.